Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Taking a look at Bitcoin here once again. Current price is 46,879. Currently looking at Bitcoin on daily. We'll take a look at this massive dump that we had. So from the wick up to the wick down. Whoops, that's the number of days. Let's not do that. Let's take a look at the percentage. We want the price range. So from the wick up to the wick down, we've come down 26%. If this is our low, which I will be talking about later, I have a feeling this is not the lowest low we will have in this cycle. Coming up from that wick, we are up about 8.9%. So overall, I mean, if we compare this correction to the previous one, we can see that we have dropped a lot more drastically compared to the previous correction here, basically. Although this was a 30% correction, and currently we're only at a 26% correction, I do believe this correction is not over. I think we will be going lower, actually. But if you just compare these two corrections, I mean, the last one, like if you look at the overall slope, we've come down pretty gradually. I mean, come down, bought back up, come down, bought back up. But if you look at the current correction, it's like down, down more, and down some more. And now we're finally getting bought back up, or consolidating a little bit. So a little scary, to be honest. It is pretty shocking how swift or how quickly Bitcoin has dropped so many thousands and thousands of dollars. So I am kind of waiting on the sidelines at the moment. I have sold off some of my Bitcoin because I just want to take profits, and I'll show you guys a chart later, which will explain why I've sold off the majority of my crypto. Actually, I'm definitely not out of the market. I still am extremely bullish on Bitcoin long term. And I, love trading and looking at the price action every day. So I had a few warning signs in the charts that made me sell quite a bit of my portfolio. But I'll explain why exactly. So basically, I have made a chart showing where Bitcoin has been since the beginning of time, essentially. Here at the top, you have all the peaks of the market cycle. So peak 1 there, I'll circle it in red. So there's a peak, there's a peak, there's a peak, and we potentially just had another peak. And down here we have the lows, so market cycle bottoms, support, basically market cycle bottom as well support. And then market cycle bottom, of course, as well as support. And this one right here, this is the COVID dump. So I'm kind of taking that out of context because it was not expected at all. It affected all markets, of course. So basically, we have the market cycle tops, 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, and the market cycle bottom. So 1, 2, 3. And we'll have to see where the next bottom will be. So this chart is, of course, not exact. It's just kind of a theory. But the reason I sold some of my Bitcoin is because if we're looking at this chart, and we are measuring, basically, if we're looking at all the peaks, basically we just hit another peak. That's why I sold the majority of my Bitcoin. This chart can be completely wrong, but I didn't want to risk basically losing all the gains that I had already made through the previous months. I mean, I've been buying Bitcoin for a long time. I bought Bitcoin when it was around 6,000, and then it dropped to 3,000. I bought for years. I've been buying Bitcoin for years, and I've been holding it also for years. For this whole entire time, literally. So I wanted to take profits because I've been holding it for so long, and I have a few things in my life I'd like to purchase. So I decided to sell some of my Bitcoin in cryptocurrency. overall, I'm still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. I believe it's going to go a lot higher in the future. Um, but currently looking at this, I mean, if you're looking at this chart, it looks like we have just topped out and we'll be heading a lot lower. So chop down a lot and then basically find support on this trend line. Will this actually happen? I'm not sure. I am pretty, I don't know, I'm very curious about this chart. I don't know if it is accurate or not, so therefore, I mean, take it with, I guess a grain of salt. But basically, it made sense for me to sell a portion or a large chunk of my portfolio because I wanted to take some profits. I didn't want to ride this thing all the way back down in case it did end up coming back to maybe like $25,000 or so. So right now, we really don't know what's happening with Bitcoin. We have to just wait and see if this, this channel basically is going to get broken over the coming months or years, or if we're actually in for a serious correction. So we'll have to see. Overall, I am actually bearish on Bitcoin at the moment. This just looks like such a volatile, or like, it looks like such a significant dump. If you look at the tops from the previous peaks, we had significant rejection. Like we shot down like no other. So if you look at this peak, I mean, you can see these red candles. They just annihilated Bitcoin. Like as soon as you hit the peak, or as soon as you hit the top of this band, or this curve, this curve right here, basically Bitcoin shot back down. So, and that's what we're seeing right now, actually. Bitcoin hit the top, roughly, and now we're shooting back down. And I do expect this to come up because, I mean, we did that previously as well. But if you look at the overall trend, it's certainly down. And that's kind of what I'm expecting for Bitcoin. I mean, I'm sorry to be a Bitcoin bear at the moment, but that's really what I'm expecting. I mean, I do think Bitcoin is going to go down significantly. Of course, I could be wrong, and of course, this is not financial advice, but just something to look into, guys. Something to, potentially warn yourselves about, because you don't want to buy a bunch of Bitcoin and just ride the whole thing down all the way. You know what I mean? Like you buy up here, and then you're just riding it down for the next year, basically. So pretty scary, actually, if you're buying right now. So actually, I recommend just waiting and seeing what happens. Of course, you can always trade, buy the dips and sell the peaks. But I'm really curious on what's going to happen here in the next few months. Looking at your volume down here, I mean, a lot of bearish volume down here. I mean, overall, like the volume in general is kind of just going down a little bit. I mean, you have periods where you're very high in volume. But if this was the peak, like our volume is not really what it used to be. I mean, back in 2017, 2018, with this peak, we had a ton of volume. Look at all those green and red candles. And now look at the volume. So if this is the peak, I don't know. I mean, like, there's just not a ton of volume going on. So are people like not interested in the space as much? It seems weird to me. I think, adoption overall is increasing. But it's really interesting. I mean, why would our volume be so significantly less now compared to in the past? You know what I mean? So very interesting. I don't know if this is the cycle top or not. I kind of am thinking it is in my mind, but of course I can be wrong. Just my opinion. And I am very curious to see what's going to happen in the coming months. I mean, personally, I think this is going to come back up and get rejected again. We're going to keep on getting rejected from this line, and eventually find support here and then head up to the upside. So very interesting space. I don't know what's going to happen. I am, like I said, bearish on Bitcoin at the moment, and I'm actually shorting it at the moment. So we'll have to see what ends up happening. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm yeah, I'm basically a bear now. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think of this channel. I mean, it basically has respected this channel since the beginning of time, and I basically took the risk and decided to sell basically everything because I believe we're heading a lot lower. Only time will tell, of course, but let me know what you guys think. Please let me know, if you find this video helpful. Leave me a comment below, like this video, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much. Take care.